So Qatar is already the biggest loser of the 2022 World Cup. Of course, on the field, Qatar is the first host country to ever lose its opening match, but that's not why they're the biggest losers. Instead, it's because the nation has spent more than $300 billion on the World Cup, and all it has received in return is hatred from most of the world. Talk about a bad ROI, this makes an investment with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX seem like a great idea. Qatar has greatly ruined its reputation since it decided to host the World Cup. You see, unlike its Arab neighbors and arch-nemesis Saudi Arabia, the tiny gas-rich nation has always had the luxury of flying under the radar. Yes, Qatar has a history of supporting terrorist groups and an awful human rights record. Still, Qatar avoided negative publicity because it's home to the largest U.S. Air Force base in the Middle East, and it runs the highly influential news organization AlJazeera. However, shortly after winning the hosting privileges, it was discovered that Qatar bribed FIFA officials to support their bid. Then things got even uglier as the nation imported thousands of poor foreign laborers to build soccer stadiums. Some estimates say at least 3,000 of them have died. And now that the games have started, it looks like the World Cup has some of the poorest attendance we've ever seen. There are even allegations of fake fans making up for the lack of real fans. Today, news coverage of the World Cup is more about how fans and players are subject to absurd rules instead of the games themselves. And the media is reporting nonstop on oppressive laws that discriminate against women, gays, and journalists. So Qatar will not win the World Cup this year. That's fairly obvious. But if we're handing out medals for the worst investments of all time, it's clear that Qatar gets the gold.